All right, everyone, welcome back to the Land of Chem. I'm your host and the author. My name is Jeffrey Drum. Thank you all so much for joining me again. All right, everyone, welcome back. This is Sunday Site Visit 69, and today I will be performing a detailed on-site examination of the various components integrated into the Great Pyramid Black Basalt Paved Eastern Temple. If this is the type of content you're interested in regarding the ancient technology of a lost civilization utilizing physics and chemistry, and the function of the Egyptian pyramids and other ancient structures from across the world, this is the channel for you. So please subscribe to the Land of Chem here on YouTube, and don't forget to click that little notification bell so that you do not miss the new episodes that premiere twice per week. Please like, comment, share, and stay tuned if you want to help support this channel and get access to exclusive research and unreleased footage that you will not see anywhere else. Check out the Land of Chem members only channel and thelandofchem.com if you want to pick up a copy of the book or grab some merch. Links in the video description below. If you want to follow me on Instagram, my handle is @thelandofchem. Also, don't forget, after you finish watching this video, please go subscribe to our two new channels here on YouTube, Egyptian Trash Cats, for all you cat lovers out there, and Egypt Eats for food reviews. Ladies and gentlemen, as always, thank you all so much for the support. I think that is it for today's intro, so without further ado, let's get right to it. And just a quick reminder, the second 2024 Land of Chem Ancient Alchemy and Ascension Tour is on, and a few bookings are still available, but time is running out on this massive opportunity, and the time to make moves on this is now. So if you are interested in coming to Egypt to see the pyramids for yourself, including special permission access to Abu Sir and a private entry into all three chambers of the Great Pyramid of Giza at night during this epic adventure experience coming up in early winter later this year, please send me an email to contact@thelandofchem.com with the subject line, Egypt Tour 3, and I will send you the full tour itinerary and pricing details. Thank you all so much, and I will see you soon here in the Land of Chem. All right, everyone, here we go with tonight's episode. To begin, the area of interest for today's expedition is the Black Basalt Paved Eastern Temple of the Great Pyramid that you can see here circled in black, which is directly connected into the core of the Great Pyramid through some massive iron oxide and conductive metal ore veins that I have mapped in this diagram. And as previously discussed, these conduits direct electric current from lightning strikes on the Great Pyramid into various components of the Giza Plateau chemical manufacturing and mining operation. And I'm not going to present much research regarding this component to preface today's footage, as I do a lot of explaining during the expedition video, and I have a massive series of research episodes coming up soon that are going to reveal the function of this entire system. So just sit back, relax, and enjoy the ride. And remember that all of my new Sunday site visit footage is now broadcast in 4K. So if you don't get exceptional quality, you have to change the video settings in YouTube to upgrade the resolution on your screen. And now, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, I hope you enjoy Sunday Site Visit 69, the Black Basalt Paved Eastern Temple of the Great Pyramid.
All right, everyone, welcome back. Old Lex Levy about to kick some ass this afternoon. Saw some asshole Egyptian carving some shit into the side of a casing stone, and both of us jumped all over his ass for being disrespectful of his own heritage. So, we're back here on the Giza Plateau today, on the eastern side of the Great Pyramid, to investigate a very specific component. The black basalt floor of the Eastern Temple. So we're gonna make our way up here to the northeastern corner, and then we will explore back down toward the south. And there's already a few things that I'm noticing here. You can see a channel here. Got some blocks in here. This may actually be a vein of iron. It also looks very similar in terms of the erosion to the conduit on the north side. She's fired up. And I will say it's nice and peaceful up here today. It's late afternoon. Everyone's already left for the day. So we got about an hour by ourselves up here to investigate the area. Sadiki. It's okay. Kolo koi. Shukra. So there's a very specific series of details that I want to present today in regard to the function of the Eastern Temple black basalt floor. And we're going to start all the way up here on the northeastern corner. All right. So, as previously presented, northeastern corner of the Great Pyramid, bedrock foundation. The entire structure of the pyramid is integrated directly into the bedrock of the Giza plateau here on the northeastern corner. And as we proceed around, this is the area that is most highly permeated with these iron veins. Again, when I say iron veins, you should know from previous episodes that I am referring to iron oxide and a variety of other metals, including conductive metals like gold and silver, that are embedded in these veins. And this whole area has the most dense coverage of these electrically conductive veins. And you can see the condition of the bedrock in through this area. It looks extremely weathered and melted and eroded. An indication that there was a significant amount of electric current running through this area. So where we see more veins, more current from these lightning strikes would have been directed through these veins. Mishai Gamo, shukran.
Very cheap. You go to Brahma Sphinx. 200 to give.
And while we're over here, for good measure, I'll show you how these veins lead directly into these quote-unquote boat pits. And those of you that have been following the series know that I've created a map connecting the core of the Great Pyramid into various other structures across the Giza Plateau through this network of electrically conductive veins. And it's my suspicion that this entire pit may have once been completely filled with a massive deposit of iron oxide and other metals. You can see that there's a vein that runs through here and up through here on the other side. And all of these veins that lead from the core converge in this direction. This is a huge vein here, dumping directly into this pit. And as we walk closer to the black basalt floor of the Eastern Temple, we'll see even more of these veins. And just look at the bedrock in through here. I'm following another one of these veins in through here. All of this material looks like it's been heated and melted. And here where Lex is standing, there's actually a drop-off here that's been filled in with modern blocks. And here is a huge blob of that same mineral deposit here. You can see this area would have been a steep drop off. You can see the vein continues down in through here. And I would suspect that this entire area was once filled with one of these veins. And you can see this area here has been filled in that connects into another vein here. The vein goes from the core of the pyramid, flows through here, and dumps down into the pit. Same thing with over here, where this huge vein would have run down in through here. So now, the area of specific concern for today's investigation. So we'll start here with this channel. And unfortunately, we don't know exactly where this would have gone. So the channel starts here and runs down and out through this direction toward the trial passages over here. So that's connection number one to understand. Is this channel leading to the north and out toward the trial passages. And you can see here, these are more veins here of the iron that go off in this direction to boat pit, quote unquote, boat pit number 2. So now, here is the original edge, and we'll start on this side and we'll just walk around until they tell us it's time to go. So here is the first edge the beginning of the black basalt incorporated in the Eastern Temple. You can see here how it's integrated into the limestone. And you can look closely, see there's mortar in there. Again, a huge myth about the construction of the Egyptian pyramids is that they are mortarless. That is not correct. So now we're going to walk up here, and you can see that to this area to the right would have originally been covered with paving stones. And look what we have here. Some huge veins. Look at how black and red the material is down in here. That. And for those of you that are watching, all of these videos are now presented in 4K. And if you're not getting exceptional quality resolution on YouTube, you have to change your YouTube settings to enable the higher quality video. Okay, so now we have these huge veins. This is a huge, densely packed vein in through here, and you can see some of this melted blackened material here. And these veins run below the black basalt of the Eastern Temple. See, here's another one. That's been filled in here. Now, an important distinction to make is that we were informed by an archaeologist working on site that this is a modern channel that they carved to house the cables for the sound and light show. This is not ancient. However, the one that I showed you from over here was confirmed as being an original part of the structure. So I want to make sure to differentiate, because we've seen abundant evidence in previous Sunday site visits of these modern channels in which they are housing electrical components for the modern Giza plateau electrical infrastructure. You can also see here there are more channels in through here. So there's ancient channels running all through this system, and if we follow this one here, this is most likely a housing for a red granite column or pillar that was here, and we'll see some more of those bases. But you can see there's also a channel here. And this channel winds all the way through this area. And then out this way. And if I take a long pause in the video, just know that I'm taking a giant rip on today's Sunday site visit cigar, the Warped Royal Palms, one of my absolute favorites at the moment. And I did a humidor count and had a few more than I had anticipated, so I was supposed to be on cigar hiatus this week, but smoke them if you got them. All right. another critical area here. Okay. So we see a vein, iron vein running through here, back below the floor of the Eastern Temple. And here, another vein. And then the channel running down into this pit. And I'll walk around the other side so you can get a good look down in this component. So you can see here this gate that would have connected that little channel down into the pit here. And looking down into the pit, you can see there's a partition here in the center. So we have one left side and one right side. And there's also huge veins of iron running down in through here. Again, this whole area of bedrock is just absolutely teeming with these iron veins. And I will reiterate, the areas with the highest concentration of iron veins were experiencing the highest distribution of electric current. Sadiki, Zayek! That was the little kid we met last time. And again, looking back in this direction, you can see the partition and the clear split between the left side of the pit and the right side of the pit. And looking down in here, it's pretty abundantly clear to me. كله كويس. شكرا صديقي. تمام.
انت من ساعة ما قابلتني لسه جاي أول مرة؟
No. You're too young. You're like 10 years old.
Oh, 10 years old.
Okay. So looking down in this pit, clearly not fully excavated, but it's really clear that this one goes down in this direction and this one goes off in this direction. So this one on the, well, it depends on which way you're looking at, but from the camera view, the pit here on the right goes off in the northeast direction, and this one here on the left goes off in the southeast direction. And we don't know for sure where that goes. And another important detail to remember is that there was an enclosure surrounding the Great Pyramid. And I'll put in some diagrams so that you can see the enclosure wall and the beginning of the black basalt paving stones of the Eastern Temple, because the configuration of these two components is very, very important in understanding how this system worked. صديقي دلوقتي أنا بشتغل. Okay, here you can see a massive piece of red granite, and I'll show you when we get over to this corner how these square or rectangular housings held these massive pieces of granite. And I absolutely love being on this black basalt floor. And once you know why this material was integrated into the system and what this thing was doing, you will understand why this area is so important to me. And as we've discussed before, these stones and the polygonal shapes, this is how this stone forms naturally in the quarry. And very little work was done in shaping these blocks. They just put them back in the same configuration in which they were found in the quarry. They were literally replicating the geological site from which this material was extracted and putting it back in the exact same order that it was found in nature. Again, all of these structures work in harmony with the forces of nature to achieve miraculous transformations. So again, you can see another iron vein leading underneath the floor. So we have several different components to analyze. There's some very interesting erosion on that block right there. So we have conduits and channels. We have a reservoir enclosure. We have a deep pit over here. We have iron veins. So several critical functional components integrated into this system thus far. And here you can see this channel. And we'll walk over here so you can see one of the in situ pieces of granite. Okay, so here's a big chunk of red granite in its original position, which would have been one of the columns or pillars within this Eastern temple. And I've shown these before, but one of my favorite saw cuts into the black basalt floor. Always reminded me of like Wolverine had to go at that thing, the three saw blade cuts. And you can see that the depth of these stones is not even. They're like teeth. And the masonry under these stones was adjusted to fit the natural depth. Again, these things were excavated from the quarry site as is. Some went deeper, some were more shallow. And they adjusted the bedrock and the masonry foundation underneath it so that the teeth would fit directly into place, creating a flat surface on the top. And here you can see a vein. Let's start here. You can see some of this vein. And then we're back here at this modern channel. I'm still a little suspicious of that, but I will take the archaeologist that was working up here on his word, because he did confirm that there are ancient channels in addition to these modern channels. And here you can really see the varying depth of these stones. And a lot of this is also restoration work, where small fragments of these stones have been put back in place and they've rebuilt a lot of this. So all of this in through here is restoration, where you see the smaller pieces This is all restoration work. So now we're going to follow this vein over in this direction. See, the vein continues here. And where does the vein go? Directly into the pit. There is an inarguable connection between these iron veins and these quote-unquote boat pits. I mean, that vein leads directly into here. It's literally right there. And anyone that is not paying attention to these connections is missing the entire scope of operation of this area of the Giza Plateau. But you can also see this vein branches off. So there's a part that goes directly into the pit and a part that leads down here into this area on the eastern side of the Great Pyramid. And I've also indicated on my preliminary mapping of these iron veins that all of these satellite pyramids are connected into this network of electrically conductive metal veins.
Hello, sour. Hey, mister, want to picture this one? انت صورته؟ والله كيف؟
All right, so we took a few steps back so I could show you that this is a modern channel. Now, that being said, did they just utilize an ancient channel that already existed? Because this is all concrete here. And this is housing cabling for the sound and light show and the electrical infrastructure. So were they, again, utilizing channels that already existed, or did they actually physically cut channels into the Giza Plateau? And you can see here that this channel continues over in this direction. It's running through here directly into this electrical box over here. So they do have these electrical units all over the Giza Plateau. And differentiating between the modern infrastructure and the ancient infrastructure can sometimes be challenging. This is another pit over here. With a you can see the hole here. And while I'm over on this side, just making sure I can keep an eye on Alexa. We'll walk over here. This is satellite pyramid G1A. And you can see here more of these veins that run through this area. Through the bedrock here. All of these structures are connected into this electrical current distribution network. And I will say again, for good measure, the Great Pyramid is not a power plant. It is a chemical manufacturing facility, specifically producing a dilute solution of sulfuric acid. However, the structure harnessed electrical current from lightning and distributed it across the Giza plateau. You do not need to produce electricity when you can attract, harness, capture, and distribute the most powerful electrical phenomenon on the planet. That is the function of the Great Pyramid. Well, 2 out of 3 functions of the Great Pyramid. The third function that we'll be getting to very soon. Aywa, ISIS temple, هنا aywa. شكرا صديقي. So let me reiterate that point. We have chemical engineering and mining applications. Function number 1. Lightning attraction and electrical current distribution. Function number 2. But then perhaps my favorite of all, function number 3. All of these 3 things being connected as the chemical engineering process is directly related to function number 3. As I mentioned in episode 135, that will also entail an explanation of the newly discovered void above the Grand Gallery, otherwise known here as the contact process chamber, inside of which was occurring an extremely exothermic chemical reaction, generating a lot of heat. The production of this dilute sulfuric acid solution is highly exothermic. And the huge void above the contact process chamber fits directly into my hypothesis. See another one of these super red iron veins here. And then this is the termination of the so-called modern channel. Again, keep in mind, I'm suspicious of that, but it may indeed be modern. There are ancient channels running through this entire system. You can see another one here. And this piece connects directly into the one that we were following through this side. Goes through here and then off in this direction. And here we have a vein branching off here, and we're going to follow this vein directly into quote-unquote boat pit number 3. See more of them here. Going directly into the boat pit, and then the vein continues here back toward the boat pit in between these two satellite pyramids. Again, we have vein into satellite pyramid 1, satellite pyramid 2, and satellite pyramid 3 are all connected through veins in this electric current distribution network. And all that noise was because one of these tourists over there are climbing the satellite pyramid.
And just a quick announcement, new Land of Chem merch is now available. I just dropped the Nano Gold 5th degree logo on a black t-shirt and hoodie. And I'm very excited to present the new spectacular white horse logo on a black hoodie and the premium high definition extra large white horse logo on this exceptional quality black t-shirt. And once again, thank you so much to friend and supporter of the channel, Adam Arrington from New Zealand, for collaborating with me on this new logo design. He has done some amazing work in helping me bring my ideas for the Land of Chem logos to life. And if you want to check out more of his work, I'll put a link to his Instagram in the video description below. The Egyptian blue version of the Land of Chem book and the last 30 or so of the signed first edition purple orchid paper print are still available. So if you want to show some love, just check out thelandofchem.com. And thank you all so much for the support.
All right. So here is what was described as this modern channel. But as we walk over here, this is an ancient channel that connects to the area that I was just showing you. Here. So the channel starts over here, it wraps around in through here, comes out in this direction, and out toward the south. Say hello.
Hey, hold on.
All right. So now we're going to follow this vein over here. And this vein branches in two directions. One vein goes here, and one vein goes directly into the boat pit. And here we have another one of these quote-unquote boat pits. This one is the one with this very unusual port-looking circular feature here. And you can see this vein here. Where does it go? Directly into satellite pyramid number 2. So again, in this series of Sunday site visits investigating these iron veins, I've physically documented with on-site footage all of the iron vein electric current distribution network that I have proposed in that map. And as I've said before, any structure that is connected by a vein was integrated into a part of this network. Electrical current was flowing from the lightning strike on the Great Pyramid through the vein into the structure, where those induced electric fields, again, we have electric current moving through the veins, inducing electric fields within the limestone dielectrics. And you can see here, there's more of these veins moving down here into the pit.
Stop here.
And some of you may be thinking to yourself, okay, then what was the function of the satellite pyramids? I have a work in progress hypothesis on that as well. But these things take time to fully develop. And that'll all be coming up soon. One thing that makes it more difficult is I like to be able to go inside the structure. And I've only had a chance to get inside of this one. And I don't think that I've ever showed the video from inside of that one, but I do have some, and I'll have to present that in an upcoming episode because it's a very interesting internal chamber. That to me gives an indication of very high pressure inside of that structure. There's actually 4 satellite pyramids. This is the location of satellite pyramid number 4. Hey buddy. This is the remains here of satellite pyramid number 4. You can see more here of this modern channel leading into the lighting infrastructure. This is the opening down into satellite pyramid number 4. There's a big iron vein here. And satellite pyramid number 3. So the nomenclature: G1, G1A, G1B, and G1C. And there would have actually been another pyramid structure here, the core and body of which is now completely dismantled. And all of this here is modern restoration work, this casing stone. And there's still several other interesting structures up here that I haven't presented quite yet. And one thing at a time. There's another one of these quote-unquote boat pits here. And down in through here. You can see a fragment of this red material here, where there was an iron vein leading in this direction as well. This is the opening into G1C. Yeah, let's go. And I've shown this component before. This restored channel. This reminds me very much of the channels at Abu Sir that once held copper pipes. So now we're here on the, yeah. So this is like the, another one of these out of piece places here. This is an awesome block, which is a channel inlet. You can see here the channel, and this slopes down. I'll show you the inlet over here. So you can see the channel flows through this part here. Pretty interesting component. Unfortunately, it's just sitting here. So it's extremely difficult to tell into what this was originally connected. Could have been connected into this at one point, but that's hard to say. And we're now here on the eastern side of G1C. Look at this huge block. Look at the color of this piece here. See a huge piece of iron permeated bedrock here. More of that iron here. And this structure here is what's known as the Isis Temple. And those of you on the members only channel, remember what the lead inspector of the Giza plateau told us. And I repeated it several times. I clipped it and repeated it back to back to back to emphasize the point that he made about this area of the Giza plateau. That we were very lucky to have stated on camera. And I've shown the vertical shafts that permeate this entire area that may have functioned as hydraulic lifts to facilitate the movement of blocks into different areas of the Giza plateau. there are as many mastaba structures over here on the eastern side as there are on the western side that I showed in last week's episode. And all of these little cracks running through this area all have traces of red. This area looks wild. Leading out from below G1C here. So, ladies and gentlemen, that will conclude today's Sunday site visit investigation, specifically focusing on the black basalt floor of the Eastern Temple. And I have a massive two-part research episode coming up on that component soon. As always, thank you all so much for the support. If you haven't already, please subscribe. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. We'll see you next Sunday.
All right, everyone, that is it for today's video. This was Sunday Site Visit 69, the Great Pyramid, Black Basalt Paved Eastern Temple. I really hope you enjoyed today's video, and in the next episode of the series, we will be evaluating some breaking research regarding hydraulic lifts and the construction of the step pyramid. This is an episode you do not want to miss, so if you haven't already, please subscribe to the Land of Chem here on YouTube if you're interested in the ancient technology of a lost civilization utilizing physics and chemistry and the function of the Egyptian pyramids and other ancient structures from across the world. Please remember to click that little notification bell, like, comment, and stay tuned. If you want to help support the channel, check out the Land of Chem members only channel and the landofchem.com. Links in the video description below. If you want to follow me on Instagram, my handle is @thelandofchem. Also, don't forget, after you finish watching this video, please go subscribe to our two new channels here on YouTube, Egyptian Trash Cats for all you cat lovers out there, and Egypt Eats for food reviews. Ladies and gentlemen, as always, thank you all so much for the support. I think that is it for today's episode, so I will see you next time.
Yo, are you still watching this? Please subscribe to the Land of Chem here on YouTube and click that little notification button. New videos coming out every single week. And check out this other episode. Come on, do it. Do it now.